I was thinking, and what, when people think of a lot of the hustlers, they always speak on the freeway, Ricky Ross's, a lot of different people and stuff, and we think about just hip hop in the community, and we were talking about even Hammer the other day and like Oakland and stuff like that, and then one of these stories that was interesting was Griselda Blanco, who was also known as the Black Widow, Colombian drug lord of the Medellin cartel and in the Miami-based cocaine drug trade and underworld during the 1970s through to the early 2000s. And she was actually killed on September the 3rd, 2012, at the age of 69. It was reported, but one of the interesting things when we think of Griselda and like I just mentioned, the Colombian cartel and stuff like that, she had a strange association and affiliation with the West Coast, namely Oakland, California, by way of an individual by the name of Charles Crosby. So quite interesting when we get into the story of this brother, Charles Crosby, and some of his dealings with Griselda Blanco and stuff like that. So Los Angeles from the West Coast, man, what you said?
Charlie Charles had to be a nigga named Charles. You understand what I'm talking about? I think this is a phenomenal story because of the fact of, as I see it, it may not always be true, but as I see it, real Mexicans and Hispanics don't like blacks. You know what I'm saying? And so, I look at it as Griselda Blanco. She did it because of the fact of this is the godmother of cocaine. You know what I mean? So she gets what she wants. Who's going to tell her that she don't get what she wants? So I think it showed up to where dude was getting at her. You know what I mean? Charlie Child, he had a perm and everything, and she was taller than the Charlotte's Hornet. You understand what I'm talking about? And so he had been getting at her. You know what I mean? Writing her letters and all that kind of stuff to where she was interested. So when she told her henchmen, they didn't like that shit. They don't care for that. They don't like blacks or nothing like that at all. You know what I mean? And so the fact that she got resistance from her henchmen, she's like, if I want a black man, I have a black man. If I want a black man, you know what I mean? And ended up, you know what I mean, making a thing out of it. What they say, once you're black, once you go black, you can't go back. That's what they say. And they also say is if once you go taco, you never go baco. That's what they say.
Yeah, I remember seeing the Cocaine Cowboys DVD, and that was one of the first things that kind of really put me onto some of the story. And as you said, especially when we look at different races and stuff, you're always gonna have that kind of I guess sometimes you get restrictions from some people, especially when it concerning like, being with a black man and stuff as well. But the level she was at, she could do pretty much what she wanted, as you said. It was reported she had an altercation with one of her husbands or something at the time. I believe he shot her and she shot him, and she lived. And it was documented in the DVD on the Cocaine Cowboys that Crosby was writing her letters, and he was captivated by her and stuff, and he kind of won her heart that way and stuff. So he
Yeah,
definitely had
he
to.
was amazed. He
He
was
definitely had.
basically amazed by her though. Like, you know what I mean? He was like a fan somewhat. You know what I mean? Like he admired her, and she loved the fact that he admired her. At the end of the day, they talk bad about black men and black this, black people, black this, black men, but every race of the world, there isn't a race on the world that has an experience being with a black man. So I don't know what's wrong with us, but the fact of if you a hustler like he was, and these niggas from the town, you know what I mean? I know about a lot about Oakland niggas because I got family in Oakland. The thing about the town was, this hustler shit going on. So just imagine in his mind, it's a long shot and him writing and she even responding back. You know what I'm saying? And so she responds back and then gets to meet her. If you're a hustler, this is an ultimate plug, ultimate come up. She's in jail, but all her plugs are still out. So the very next day, you know what I mean? She's like, what do you want? Next day, he had like damn near $1 million worth of cocaine that nobody had in the town. at all. You know, his perm was fried, dyed, and laid to the side. He had more waves than Redondo Beach. I seen it. You know what I mean? And so her henchman didn't like that shit. You know, and he had other people. You know, he had other women before she came along. And so, you know, he was dealing with them a little bit, and she caught wind to it and sent her henchmen to go over there to scare him. But, you know, they don't like him no way. So they shot the car up. He's lucky he's alive. You know what I mean? So he came back to her, you know, and told her, you know, I had people I was dealing with before you. I can't, what am I supposed to do? Stop my life. But it was a real story, man, you know, and the fact of, I think it was remarkable, you know what I mean? Because of the fact of Griselda Blanco was wicked. She was wicked. You know what I mean? This is a person that they called a hit at the airport. Kids and all that shit. She don't give a fuck. She killing kids and everything. So he's lucky to have his life. And at the same time, what a hell of a tale to tell, you know, to have to tell. And then as soon as she goes to Menai, they smoke her, you know? So even though she did a lot of wrong in this world and all that, she was a go-get-it girl. And I tip my hat off to Griselda Blanco. Big up to Griselda Blanco. No shade at all respect.
Yeah, as you said, it was documented that, you know, she sent a warning to him when she found out about him with other women, and you know, he
Got
spoke
shot.
about it, I believe, in the Cocaine Cowboys DVD, where he said, you know, he had to express to her and stuff that, you know, it wasn't nothing personal, and you know, it's just kind of crazy to think, as you said, the brother from out the town, you know, Old Town, he made
Right.
that link. It was reported he was getting around 80 bricks a week or an upwards and stuff, connected with her family, you know, plugged in with pretty much, it sounded like the whole conglomerate, you know, and
She put it in position, and he was with the kids. The kids loved him.
yeah, Michael Corleone, he was with Michael Corleone a lot. I mean, how crazy is that she got a kid called Michael Corleone and stuff as
Right.
well. But you know, even we see the image there is something that, because often when we look at, especially like sometimes with other nations where black men are mixing with them, the black men often, as you said, can be threatened by some of the other guys and stuff. But in the case where she wielded so much power, even within her own community and stuff, to a degree where, you know, it was
And that's the
like,
godmother, Holmes. That's the
yeah,
godmother, Holmes. She was paying
you could see in
$1,500.
that picture she could do what she was doing, what she wanted, and she seemed happy, you know.
She was happy, and then she was paying $1,500 for 15 minutes conjugal visits. You got to realize a lot of when you go to jail, you know, a lot of the guards are Hispanic. You know what I'm saying? So it goes, even though they got to do their job, it goes beyond their job. Like, it's the godmother. You deprived the godmother of something, you better watch your life. You know what I'm saying? So they even gave her, you know, you don't treat a boss like that when you go to jail, demean them and bring them all the way down. Okay, you got caught for what you caught with, but even within bad things of selling drugs and pushing drugs and all that, who said that like Jay-Z say it ain't, you know, who said selling drugs was the easy way out? This shit is a job, and it's a bunch of people selling drugs. And if you selling drugs this time in this era with the cameras and all that, you know, you're a cold piece. You know what I mean? But also know that when you sell drugs, it happens to the best of them. And it always, you know, it's like a movie that we've always seen before. It always ends up the same way, that you either get killed or you're in jail, or you're in jail and get killed. You know, it's very, very seldom that you see some drug dealers, some people that's really, really up, that just walk away from the game. You know what I'm saying? Untouched. Walk away from the game, not let the game have them walk away from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you walk away from it instead of getting caught in the certain fates that come with this shit. You know, it's hard to not, you know, that's when you believe in God and have faith, because, you know, you have to believe that you're going to be all right even without selling drugs, because with selling drugs, what's more addicting to selling drugs is the money, the mun, you know, is to sell that and get that money at a rapid rate, faster than you would by working a regular job. You spend your money differently when you work a regular job than when you pushing drugs. You know, you already know it's gonna come back. You know what I mean? When you pushing, but that's why it fools you. You know, but like I said, rest in peace to Griselda Blanco, because she was definitely a real one, a trill one, putting cocaine in barrels on ships and within the panels. She was cold with it. Cold.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it's gonna pan out, but I know it was reported a few years ago that there was a HBO biopic starring Jennifer Lopez, which was gonna be, documenting her life, called The Cocaine Godmother. And it was reported that I think they believe they tried to get in touch with Charles Crosby about it, because they say he's apparently one of the, if not the only one of her exes that's actually was left alive,
Alive.
and nothing happened to him and stuff. And so that's definitely quite interesting and stuff as well. And but it was reported that he said he's not a fan of Jennifer Lopez, and said that he finds her to be quite unconvincing with no street cred. So it doesn't seem like there was that much of
I
support
mean, you
levying.
don't need to really have street cred to play a person, but I'm saying that Jennifer Lopez, I think they would be better off getting
He
somebody
probably
that's
means she
unknown.
can't embody the character. He probably, yeah, I know what you mean about the street cred. He probably means like
It'd be
she don't.
better to get somebody that's unknown, that's dope on their work as far as their acting skills, than to get Jennifer Lopez just because she's Hispanic. The fact of if she did do it, I think that this would be one of the roles of her life that would challenge her more than any other
I
role that
mean,
she's ever played.
no disrespect to Griselda, but looking at her image, could you see Jennifer Lopez, looking like that? Maybe, unless well, we don't know what portions of her life, but unless she's gonna be made up with, like, heavy makeup to become more heavy set, or just looking a bit different. I don't know. I know Hollywood could do some things, but
Maybe
yeah,
she could play. Maybe she
I
could
don't
play
know.
her when she was early in her years, when she was younger, maybe,
Yeah,
and then somebody else play her as
some
she gets older.
yeah, somebody, not to make a comedy out of this, but they did a movie with, I think it was called Shallow Hal, with what's that Gwyneth Paltrow, when she played the chick Rosemary. But Shallow Hal saw her like she was skinny, but she was a bit more heavy set. But in some of the scenes where they showed the heavy set version of her, they could use like face makeup and stuff like that. So maybe they could do that with J Lo. And but if there was to do a movie, I agree. I think somebody, I think a bit more with, a bit more, with a bit more oomph.
Let
Even
me
though
tell you something.
even though J Lo shows some oomph in some of her old stuff, I think it's a different kind of oomph. I liked her in Money Train. She was kind of, she was cool in Money Train.
What I'll say is, when you're a real actor, when you embody a character, you don't even see that person anymore that's playing it. You see the person that they're playing. You understand? When you look at
Yeah,
movies
exactly.
like Sling Blade with Billy Bob Thornton, you know what Billy Bob Thornton looks like. When you see him play Carl in Sling Blade, you don't even see Billy Bob Thornton anymore. When you see Denzel in Malcolm X, you don't even see Denzel Washington anymore. You see Malcolm X. You
Yeah,
understand? It's this, when you embody a character, when you throw
yeah,
yourself into that character.
yeah. I remember we kind of touched on that before. We said, Angela Bassett, the Tina Turner biopic, and certain biopics and stuff. I think it really works when somebody's able to embody the character so much that, as you said, you look past the actor portraying them, and you're actually able to, get into the characterization and the story. So maybe that's where Charles Crosby was coming off with the aspect of J Lo, that he probably, would just see her as, I don't know, but it's an interesting one. But at the same time, he's got his own experiences. It's been
Yeah,
reported
but I
that
don't think he
he's
needs to be worried about that.
not only is he a former cocaine dealer, they say he has a net worth of around 100,000. Grew up in Oakland, California. Began doing his thing, selling drugs in his late teens. They say he contacted Griselda Blanco, one of the most famous members of the Medellin drug cartel, when she was in jail. They began exchanging letters and phone calls, and she helped him widen the scope of his business. and this drastically increased his income. So when she was released from prison, they began a romantic relationship as well. Even though he had a family, he severed ties with her when he was subpoenaed to testify about her involvement in the plot to kidnap John Kennedy Jr. And she was
Mm.
imprisoned again up until 2004, and then she was deported to Colombia. So Charles Cosby served as a subject for the film Cocaine Cowboys 2, which, if you haven't watched it, we definitely recommend people to check it out. And they say he's since written a book about his life experiences as well.
As he should. But I don't think he needs to worry about who's playing Griselda because it's not going to be her regardless. She's dead.
And
So
he doesn't want to be involved. I don't believe he wants his,
he don't want to
things
be involved in it. He don't want to be in it.
reported that way. He said he was going to sue if they but
But I don't know. He's doing something stupid because you are a part of that history. So you shouldn't worry about who's playing it. You should worry about let the movie coming out. You know what I'm saying? And so he doesn't know how they going he can structure on how he wants to be perceived in the movie, but I think he should just let it go, let it come out, let the story be told, and get the profits from the book, and when the movie comes out, his book is really going to do well. So he shouldn't worry about that and say too much about it. You feel what I'm saying? He really wasn't supposed to be in the history of it anyway. So, and the fact that he should be quiet and let the people come out. I don't care if they was having Emilio Estevez play her player. You let the story come out.
Yeah, I think I don't it didn't come out to my knowledge because the last article I seen on it was about 2016. So unless it's something that's still in development, maybe it was just planned and then got halted in its steps. It couldn't get past that initial stage of production, but it would be an interesting movie. Story portrayed on the bigger screen, wider lens, just to give a bit more scope from a theatrical standpoint.
He should let it go on because just look at it. He's still alive. Finally, a movie gonna come out with a black man don't die in it. You know what I'm saying? He's still in. He's still alive at the end of the movie. You feel me? So I ain't mad at him though. To some of the words I'm saying, so I don't want him to take it a wrong way if he sees this. Because I definitely tip my hat off to him. Definitely, what I mean? He was out there. You know what I mean? He's out there. You know what I mean? Not too many people can say that. Not too many people, especially around her, because we all know. I don't know if y'all know, like I said, but real Mexicans don't like black people. You know what I'm saying? And so, and it's a proven fact because when you go look at the Cocaine Cowboys, she said, "I don't want you to kill him. I want you to scare him." And they went and shot his car up and shot him up anyway and shot him. So that goes to show right there they wasn't with none of that in the first place. But the fact that he's in this history, don't rewrite history, brother. Let him come out with it. Let him come out with it. Everybody know you was a drug dealer. Everybody know you was pumping. You know what I mean? Don't rewrite history. Let it come out.
Yeah, I don't think he's tripping off that because he done the Cocaine Cowboys DVD, so everything kind of out there. I don't know if it was just an issue with maybe HBO's depiction, or
they want to probably switch it up and turn it all around or some shit, baby.
Or maybe it could have been a financial thing because we know sometimes, especially with these kind of companies and organizations,
they don't be wanting to pay.
Yeah, they want to sweep in and tell stories and stuff. So there's different. We can't say specifically. I don't think ultimately though his standpoint affects it being made or anything. So it's not like
going to be made.
Yeah, if he's just pretty much was saying like if they depict him, then and people got that right.
Man, please.
We've seen that with Suge Knight with the Straight Outta Compton movie. Sometimes people
but they really wasn't off. They really wasn't off on Suge Knight in Straight Outta Compton and all that. They really wasn't off too much.
No, but I'm talking in terms of having the conversation with them prior to establish that if you're gonna include me, it has to be done a certain type of
right. That's because they scared. They scared. They like meet with a drug dealer. about a movie, listen, you're lucky we putting you in there. Here's a little check. There you go, and let that be that. You know, they probably scared. Like he gonna bring some goons with him, and they gonna try to muscle. You know, don't think that this hasn't happened. You know, when black people don't get their way, they feel like they unjust. You know, all kind of shit. Look at Cube. He went up there and bust Brian Turner's office up, and shit happens. The Booyah Tribe, the distribution company that we were signed through in the Bay, in Oakland, they wasn't doing the Booyah Tribe right. The Booyah Tribe wasn't having it. Cobra and all them went up there with baseball bats and golf clubs. Everybody got what they wanted.
Sometimes you gotta shape things up.
If you don't, that's the only time people respect things. If you sit back and be told what to do and they tell you this and tell you that and that's it. No, when I have the last word, motherfuckers get beat up and glasses being smashed. Okay, the check. You'd be surprised how fast the check come out. Yeah, violence ain't all the way. Violence ain't the way to do it though. Violence is definitely not always the way to do it. But I understand. You understand?
Yeah, we're gonna roll down this one. So we definitely want to say salute to Charles Cosby and rest in peace, Griselda, Blanco.
And big up to Michael Corleone. It's a cold name, brother. If you see this interview, holla at us. Let's do an interview, man. Respect over here.
Peace.